And that's going to be to increase resting muscle tone to make you look a lot more muscular as fast as possible.
Damn!
Today I'm going to show you a six-pack abs workout.
Damn!
I went and worked out 5 hours a day.
Damn!
Let's discuss the most enjoyable way of getting below 10% body fat.
Damn!
Is your priority in fitness to become healthy or to look great? Many times the fitness community neglects the former and focuses on the latter. And for a reason, it sells better. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you shouldn't prioritize looking great, but I think it's important for you to know what you're actually getting into. You need to balance your expectations on what's realistic. For instance, you might be on a tight time budget. Now recently I went from around 15 to 5% body fat, and I was actually on a tight time budget. Sure, anything is possible, but I want to caution you, it's not the most amazing feeling in the world to get to really low body fat percentage. So this is pretty fresh on my mind, so let me help you pick the one that's right for you. Let's start with discussing what it means to get healthy, and then what it actually means to get truly shredded. Okay, I want to provide you a disclaimer here on what's actually meant by being healthy. Because interestingly, people who live to the age of close to 100, becoming so-called centenarians, they actually don't differ that much in their lifestyle choices, while not being active and eating almost whatever they want to. For instance, let's take the example of Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors of all time. He's being quoted as eating many times at McDonald's per week, but also some studies suggest that people who live exceptionally long lives don't actually differ that much in their lifestyle choices compared to the normal population. So with that out of the way, while we can't control some things in life, in general being healthy is likely to shift your odds of having a better life quality. So to be quote-unquote healthy, you can look at many different parameters such as the body mass index or the BMI, which takes your body weight in relation to your height. Now I think this is a flawed measure because it doesn't take into consideration how much of your body composition is muscle mass versus fat mass. For instance, if you're athletic and have a lot of muscle, you might be overweight when you look at the BMI, and on the other hand, you might have a high body fat percentage, while still based on the BMI, you might be at a healthy weight. So for sake of simplicity, let's look at the body fat percentage as a simple measure of your health. And yes, I know I'm simplifying here, and that's the whole point here. Because we want to have simple goals that we can aim for. And there's actually evidence that your body fat percentage is a better predictor compared to more traditional measures of chronic inflammation, which is a leading cause of many health problems. So let's start with focusing on getting to a healthy body fat percentage. So let's take a person who is 80 kilos and has 20 kilos of body fat. This means that his body fat percentage is 25%. So next, what's the easiest way to know what body fat percentage you have? You don't have to use one of these machines that you have at the gym where you can measure your body fat. You can actually simply just grab out your phone, take your shirt off, and look in the mirror, take a photo, and compare your physique to this chart. I tried this myself, and the difference compared to a machine versus a photo, well, it's pretty close in the same ballpark. Okay, with that out of the way, what's a good body fat percentage to aim for? Well, the science here isn't bulletproof, but I think this is a pretty solid reference point of what you can aim for. So think of these as maybe a range of what you want to aim for. So for instance, for men, if you're above 20%, while for women, if you're above 25%, the greater risk of disease starts to develop. And yeah, remember, I'm just an average guy. This is based on guidelines. This is not medical advice, but you can look at this and sort of get a rough picture of what you could aim for towards to become a little bit more healthier. Many factors, of course, affect our lifestyles and health, and just to aim for this doesn't mean that you will be healthy. And when you look at these charts, you'll also notice that women naturally have a higher body fat percentage compared to men. And this is due to biological differences. So there's a few things missing from this equation. And maybe we want to prioritize both health and looking great. So this equation from Jackson and Pollock is a pretty good reference point. Ideally, if you're around the age of 30, you can aim for men to be below 15% body fat and for women below 20% body fat. Okay, and it might not feel like this is some super easy task to do, but hard choices, easy life, easy choices, hard life. And that is especially important when we think about weight management. For instance, we might be thinking that, okay, I'm getting up there in the age, my metabolism is getting slower. Well, actually, there's a fresh study that shows that it isn't actually true. Our metabolism doesn't slow too much down with age. From the age of 20 to 60, based on this new study, our metabolism doesn't actually slow down at all. And after the age of 60, our metabolism only slightly starts to decline. So to get to a lower body fat percentage, of course, diet is the most important part. Now the question is, should you go on a vegan diet? Should you go on a ketogenic diet? Should you do intermittent fasting? Well, actually, you don't have to do any of those. You certainly don't have to cut out all the carbs. The most important thing is for you to manage your energy balance through diet. And in the beginning, when you start to lose weight, you might drop quickly. But the important thing is to understand here, a lot of that is also water weight, and you have to stick long enough to the diet. And at a later point, you might hit a wall where you don't drop any more weight. And that's why it's important for you to make those lifestyle changes stick long enough. So to get an in-depth discussion on this, check the video at the end of this on how to improve your diet in a no bullshit approach. So finally the good stuff, why you're actually here, and what the fitness community has sold you, developing superhuman strength. So let's say that you got to that lean physique that looks good, but also is healthy, but you want to take it to the next step. Because there's something in us humans that attracts us when we are really mean and lean. And for men, this is when you push below 10% body fat, and for women, it's when you push to 15% and below. And I can tell you that this is really hard to achieve, but it is possible to do when you are on a tight time budget. I've done this myself when I recently pursued the muscle up world record, and I was on a tight time budget. Now, you don't have to do everything perfect, but you definitely have to step up your game and make less mistakes. You have to train hard, you have to eat well, and you also have to sleep well. From a health standpoint, you don't have to do this. If you are already in good shape that we discussed before, I think you're already fine. You don't have to go this low. And maybe one strategy that could help you is to not think about being in this shape 365 days per year. You can pick a window where you're actually this lean, and maybe not do it like me, because I did this in the winter. A better time could probably be to do it in the summer. And you also have to be clear on why you do it. Personally, for me, I wanted to challenge myself. So I always thought that, hey, I can get much more out of myself, and then to look great is just, a bonus. And it really helped me to, remove my biases, improve my diet. You have to be really clear on what your goals are and why you want to do this. So I cleaned out my diet, but I also pushed extremely hard in my training. And that is key. If you just push towards a really low body fat percentage, it can also be really unhealthy. It's also important for you to maintain as much as possible of a lean muscle mass. And you don't want to do any type of exercise, because there is actually one that will give you the best results here. Focus on strength training. Personally, I do a lot of calisthenics. This way you can maintain as much as possible of your lean muscle mass. Also, over time, more muscles will allow you to burn more calories at rest. So while getting a healthy, aesthetically looking body requires a lot of work, and it requires some luck to live a long, healthy life, simple principles are key. Focus on a target range for your body fat, maintain your energy balance in nutrition, work out hard, but rest even harder. Hard choices, easy life, easy choices, hard life are especially true here. I hope you found this video valuable. I'll see you guys in the next video.